What is architecture? You're designing space. It's an art, it's a science, it's a coming together of two types of thinking, creative thinking as well as problem solving, right? But what is space? Any kind of open space, closed space, we are choreographing, anything that is choreographed, man-made, it will come under architecture. So what is space? There is a physicality to space, right? There's a certain dimension. This place where this building is has a certain size to it, it has a certain height to it, there are buildings around, there's a sky, so there's a physicality to space, and solving that is mostly architecture. That's what most architects do. But there is also a psychology of space. Space has a certain effect on people. People live in cities, in villages, and they have a completely different approach to life only because of the way they live, the space they live in. It has a psychological effect on people. The self has so many ways of responding. I just want to run through some to sort of stimulate your thinking a bit. Your first response to space is the kind of space you're in. This is a macro look at thing. Where do you live? Do you live in a forest kind of space? Do you live in a city kind of space? Obviously, you're in the tactile city with like assaulting your senses, horn, sound, smell, sights, and it's different every second and yet the same. Right? That's a different kind of assault. This is a different kind of assault. Too much of one thing can be bad for everyone. Everyone knows that. Too much sugar, too much carbohydrates. Everybody knows you have to moderate. Right? Feel of light. Not all light. Keep some light away. Let some light in. How can you shape light so that you can react to it? Smells. How can you? A smell can make a relation with a space. My grandmother used to live in Bombay, grandparents, and I used to keep going there every year, every summer for holidays, for vacation. And then they moved on and everything, and then 15 years later, I went back to that same Vadala station because I needed to go get my birth certificate. You won't believe it. I stepped out, I didn't recognize anything. I just went back with the smell. There was some sort of factory or something that had always been there and it smelt a certain way. It just threw me back. Never underestimate smell. It's always there with you, just not thought about in the subconscious. Another kind of smell. Do you read Tamil? Man-made material when it reacts to nature, or even of course sand and water. Manvasanai is a beautiful smell. Can you create it within your house? How can you create it? I love manvasanai. Can I design my house so that I have this in my house? Yes. Just a small example. Texture. When we walk, they say reflexology and they give you walks outside. Can we create that for ourselves in our houses? This is my partner's bathroom. This was her favorite kind of texture for her feet. She created, that's her bathroom floor. She brought those pebbles inside the house so that every time we have a bath, it's like a massage for the feet. Can texture go beyond and create art, three-dimensional art with texture? So this was a project where we used bricks. And then we're like, why don't we start having fun with that brick? Why not, instead of just a brick wall, we start doing something and this abstract thing started becoming like a tree. So then people came and said like a tree of life. Can you see that? The brick started coming out and creating a shape. And each one perceives it in a different way. What do you think this could be? Could be many things. One dominant thing, I think. Yeah? So people have waterfalls on purpose designed within your vicinity just for the sound. It's supposed to have a calming effect, right? But the nature of the sound, everything matters. But you do react to it. What about this? When you walk through an old temple, something about the feel of how many people have walked there does something to you. When you walk in Rome and you're standing in the Colosseum, you're suddenly like, centuries ago there were these gladiators here, I am in that same spot. That's a very extreme example, but but aging has a sense of its own. It's a sense of time within you, built within you, where you can in an instant relate to an individual from 1 AD. You know, we went to this Marayur, where they had structures built by early men in, I think, 400 BC or something, dolmens. They were just 2 stone walls and a stone roof, completely unremarkable. What makes it remarkable is when you stand there and you think, first humans were here, they made this with their hands, they touched this very thing that I am touching. Aging has that character. Can you design for things to age? Yes, you can. You can design for a stone with a moss to build over it so that it lasts, but changes with age. People build with copper. Copper looks different with age, and they do it on purpose. It can be choreographed, but observe, like don't miss it. There are these things around you that if you observe can bring so much meaning to your thought. We designed this house for this lady, and in her house we were renovating it, so you just opened cupboards and she had all these vessels and everything. We were like, what happened? Her mother had just moved from the village and brought all of this, and these old vessels, they were so beautiful, and we put them in spaces in the house as a lamp, as a basin, as handles, creating a sense of nostalgia. Some relation to that item is there around you. Can a space stimulate your senses? Like a waterfall, right? You said waterfall. Why do you like it? It's awakening your senses, right? It's doing something. So when you climb something so steep, your feet will be tingling. Or when you walk into a space and the light is too bright, it's just light, but it's also stimulating you, stimulating your sense. We went out of our alone self, and we are acknowledging that we are not just one anymore. We're not a single person anymore. We are a part of this group. So that is environs and the self, yourself with other things. And that other thing can be other humans, animals, nature, anything, right? And the relation, now this is a PhD by itself, but I'll just talk about what I think is an important way of relating the self and the environs. One is a transactional relationship and one is a relation. So when you're sitting here, it's a transactional. You're here for something, and you've come here for something, and they're going to give you something. When you start talking to each other and everybody's interacting, right now it's a bit transactional, but when you start talking, it's more relational. We work with it's not a desk job, I love it. We work with everyone from electricians, plumbers, masons, stonemasons, carpenters, furniture designers, really hip stylists, rich clients, poor clients, all sorts of people, graphic designers, and each comes with their own love of their craft. And without talking to them, my job is incomplete. You're making a door for me. And he'll talk to me about the kind of wood. Madam, in the wood panna, அது கொஞ்சம் பழைய wood ஆனா பார்க்கிறதுக்கு நல்லா இருக்கும். You know, they bring their own ethos because they love their craft. I can tell him, you shut up, I know better, I like this look of this. But he'll come with a story. He'll say, when you work with this wood, this happens. And similarly to stonemasons, he'll say, now it looks like this, but 10 years from now that marble will look like this, and you try this natural stone, it's better. And then he'll bring me a sample and say, madam, put your leg on it and see. So you have to grab these people. You have to invite them into your life. You can go to a shop and see it and say, I'll take that stone, I'll take that tile. But it's so much richer to say, I have a house with a tile, with a window. I want to talk to these people who make that. What is there? Why are they there? What do you love about it? You're a carpenter. My carpenter is lovely. I could hug him every day. They're also bad carpenters. But so, you know, when they love their craft, it's a pleasure to have them in your life. Invite them. You're going out as students, but go there and see, what do I want in my life? What do I like? I'm seeing this work. I like this work, some art, let's say. Make an effort to actually find out who did it and go talk to them. Doesn't matter if you're a small student and they're a huge artist. Try and observe more and seek it out. Don't wait for things to happen. Of course, things happening to you is also a content way to be. Nothing wrong with that. But if you see something, pounce on it. You will find what you want the more you start observing yourself and seeing what you like around you. There's more chances that you'll find your passion that way. Even if you don't have a passion, don't worry, that's also fine. But it just makes your life richer.